Hey y'all, it's your girl Goddess Raven. Hey! And this is Goddess Raven News and tarot readings or celebrity readings, oracle readings or pendulum readings. You know, all of the above. So let's get into this because I've been talking about this situation since 2022, 23, and now we're in 24. And we get to find out a little bit more details behind that $600 million deal, that the state made or is trying to make from Michael Jackson's estate. That $600 million deal that everybody feels like is like pennies. Yeah, because we're talking about Michael Jackson. And when you talk about him and his estate, his catalogs and everything, you should be talking in the billions, not the millions. So let's get into this. Remember I told you that there was like maybe one or two Jacksons possibly that were trying to fight this deal, but there was one that seemed to be for it and was always for it and always seemed to be the speaker for the Jackson siblings and was always, kind of allegedly the one that, would get items together to be sold off. Prince. Okay. Well, let's get into this because this is some sad-ish. Emotional Michael Jackson's son blanket shut down in effort to block estate executors' secret deal to sell the late father's estate. Now, if you don't know who Blanket is allegedly Michael Jackson's only biological child. Prince Michael Jackson II, who was born February 21st, 2002, known as Blanket, the third child of the pop legend Michael Jackson, and allegedly the only biological child of the star. That's right. Look at that chin. Look at that chin and look at that face. If you put pictures of Michael and him next to each other when he was a kid, you'll see some similarities. Well, anyway, let's talk about the situation at hand. Because this is something I was talking about. I don't see so many other people on here talking about it, but okay. Michael Jackson's mother, Katherine, and son Blanket made an emotional plea in court to block the executors of the late pop star estate from selling off his assets that ended up being shut down. So he tried to fight to keep Michael Jackson's assets, his father's assets. Katherine, who's in her 90s, was fighting to keep the assets. Yeah. So these two Johns, there's these two John individuals, that have been named executors of Jackson's estate following his 2009 passing, have been fighting the 93-year-old Katherine over a secret deal since 2022. Okay, these two Johns asked the probate court to approve a deal they secured in 2022. Their motion was heavily redacted and did not reveal the transaction details. The executors told the court the deal involved selling Jackson's assets and said it could bring it over $400 million deal. Now, the beneficiaries of Jackson's will is his three kids, Prince, one, Paris, and Blanket. The entertainer had a provision in his will that instructed the executors to take care of Katherine for the remainder of her life. A couple weeks after these two Johns asked the court for approval, Katherine filed an objection. Her filing was also heavily redacted. All signs point to the deal in question being this recent deal that has been, I talked about, the $600 million deal to sell half of Jackson's music catalog. Would you think when you talk about Paul McCartney, Eminem, his stuff, his working, and other people workings that he owned, do you really think $600 million is enough? No. Okay. And this is to sell half of his music catalog to Sony, one place he did not want to F with. Now, these two Johns fired back at Katherine. They accused her of previous attempts to interfere with lucrative deals, as she should. The duo touted their success in turning Jackson's estate around as evidence that they possessed the knowledge on what was right for the estate and what was right for the beneficiaries. So now these two strangers know what's best for the beneficiaries. The executors turned the debt-ridden estate around, exercising the powers granted in Michael's will as confirmed by the probate court. They entered into business transactions involving the estate's assets that skyrocketed the estate value to over $2 billion. In the end, the probate court signed off on the transaction despite Katherine testifying against it. Katherine appealed the decision. As we first reported, she argued the executors had no authority to sell off Jackson's estate. She said that her late son's assets were required to be transferred into the trust that she and the children are beneficiaries of. And if that is the case, that they are the beneficiaries of the assets, how are John and John just able to make deals without the beneficiaries? How are they able to just take the assets and do what they want with it? I'm telling you, America, I'm really starting to think you just don't own nothing, do you? It's all an illusion. Let's keep on. In response, the estate said Katherine's arguments were nonsense. They said she had never objected to previous sales of Jackson assets based on that same argument because this is different. You're trying to sell off the whole enchilada, or at least half of it. Now, the executors demand the appeal be dismissed. However, in their filing, the executors revealed new details about Katherine, Paris, and Blanket, what they said in court at the hearing. Before the judge approved the transaction, Katherine told the court that Jackson told her many times, basically, he never wanted to sell. Michael never wanted his assets sold. This is just sad. In addition, Paris and Blanket raised objections. Michael's other son, Paris, said he had no issues whatsoever after spending significant time, countless hours educating himself about how much he would get in that transaction. So he saw the dollars. And of course, he's not the biological child of Michael Jackson, so he ain't got no skin in the game, except for to hold on to things. You know, it's not in his blood. But Blanket wanted to hold on, and Paris wanted to hold on, and his mother, who gave Michael life, wants to hold on and preserve. Blanket told the court the transaction might be a good business deal, but he objected on an emotional ground. Paris testified via Zoom. She said that she was with her mother, her grandmother, and little brother, Blanket. Yeah. Katherine said Paris and Blanket were both on her side. Despite it all, the probate judge signed with the executors and Prince. No decision has been made on Katherine's appeal, though. So there is an appeal being made. So we'll see what happens. Y'all comment below and tell me what y'all think. Yeah, because a lot of fans are rallying around, Blanket and Katherine. A lot of fans and a lot of people, that knew Michael are rallying around to help in this situation. So we'll see what happens and how it plays out. Y'all comment below and don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. I am on that road to 10,000 subscribers. So please help me hit the 10,000, hit 10,000 subscribers. And there's also some products that will be up and available when the 10,000 is hit. So on that note, let me go. I'll catch you later.
What happened if I took a chance? It's always hard.